Where we at?
South Dakota.
Mitchell, South Dakota,
It's
to be
cold.
exact. Yeah, it's like 48 degrees. And it is raining. It's been raining on us since we left Nebraska. And we're about to go into BAM and get some provisions.
We are John and Michelle, and we believe memories are more valuable than material possessions.
That's why we waved goodbye to 2,400 square feet of house and said hello to our 35-foot fifth wheel.
Touch 'em.
Big wheel.
Hey everybody, we're in Mitchell, South Dakota, and we just wanted to come on and say hi and let you know where we were in our journey.
It has been not necessarily a whirlwind, but it has been a more fast-paced few weeks than what we have experienced in the past. But we've seen nothing but positive results that have come out of that, aside from just like being tired.
Yeah, I really thought this faster pace would make us really exhausted, but I don't feel that way. We've been sitting for 3 days now?
Yeah.
We've got 2 more days here, and I'm kind of ready to go. We went and saw the Corn Palace. There is a Indian Village we want to go see either today or tomorrow, and we're headed to the Badlands on Tuesday.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement related to that wanting to go that you're talking about, because we know what is next, the Badlands, then on to Mount Rushmore. We're also going to be utilizing the generator for the first time since we have left home and put it through its initial testing and paces. So there's some feelings of excitement related to what are we going to encounter when we get into those situations as well.
As we prepare to head into the Badlands, and as we get further west, we're more likely to run into situations where our height becomes an issue or the width of the RV becomes an issue. So we're going to get out there with a tape measure and find out our accurate measurements, find out exactly how tall we are. You can go on your RV manufacturer's website and you can get numbers, but like for us, we opted to get a second air conditioner with our fifth wheel. So that's going to add height over and above the factory numbers that we would find on the website. We've also added the antenna for the Wii Boost. We mounted that on the side of the rig. So we want to get up there with a tape measure and get some measurements and find out just how tall we are before we continue any further west.
The final verdict was about what?
There's about the 3-inch difference with the second AC. So with the second AC, we measured 12.7, And we've been putting in 13 foot in our Trip Wizard, so better safe than sorry. I think I'll just leave it at 13.
Yeah, I think it's been a good estimate for us up to this point. And now that we've done the measurements and gotten a little bit better idea of where we're at, you're exactly right. I think that's a good rule of thumb for us to stick to in our trip planning efforts. And it was essential that we knew that as we look ahead to the places that we're going to go.
Yes, so what drove us to finally taking the measurements was the fact that I've been reading about tunnels going to Mount Rushmore, and these tunnels are no bigger than like 12 foot, 12.6, and we just didn't feel comfortable going without really knowing what we measured. There is a route that takes you without tunnels, but just in case we were to run into some, I wanted to make sure we knew exactly how big we were. It's coming out.
I'm gonna have to rock this thing now.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it popped the screws up there.
What just happened? I was bringing in an awning. We're getting ready to go on a hike. And rolling the awning in. Door wasn't latched, but it was open far enough that it got caught. And we heard sounded like a gunshot, like a 22. We just blew the bolts out of the awning arm. So
Looks like it might be an easy fix though, if we didn't strip them.
I hope so. I've got some marine goop sealant. I'm gonna try and put in those holes, but I don't have a ladder to get up there.
Got a picnic table.
Okay. So this is where it caught.
Very good.
That is what we used on the pop rivets for the reboost antenna. It's thick, it's very sticky, and it's watertight. That's a 3/8 screw, 3/8 socket. That hole might be stripped out. I mean, it's just, once they get in, they just spin.
So we traveled to Mitchell for the Corn Palace, but I think what wowed us more was the Mitchell Prehistoric Village. When we walked in, it was like a little museum. They had replicas and statues of bison skeleton and little model towns on what they have determined this area looked like from excavating it. and there's not much signage on it. I happened to see one when we were driving in, a little wooden sign pointing to the Prehistoric Village. And when we got there, it's an archaeological site. Students from England and from South Dakota come every summer to dig and continue the excavations. It's the only one in South Dakota that's open to the public. When we did walk out to the Archaeodome, they sent a tour guide with us, and she explained what they were excavating, how they were excavating, and what they had found so far. Over the years, they learned much about the people who lived there. They lived there about 1,100 years ago, and they learned that the site was a major bison processing center. There was a lot of things that they had found that was in cases, such as pottery and different kinds of bones, and the kids were able to pick up the bones and look at them and try to determine what bone went to what animal. So that was some fun hands-on things for them. But to look down into that pit and see where they had dug places out to hold their food was very educational for all of us. Essentially, it was like digging out a cellar.
Hold it up!
Each of the girls got an arrowhead that day. So that was probably one of our, probably our favorite thing to do while we were in Mitchell. And we were there for 5 days, so we were able to kind of look around to see what was in that city to be able to explore.
Here we are, roughly 24 hours removed from popping those bolts off the awning yesterday. When I was trying to pull the awning in, it got caught on the door and busted those bolts out. And Michelle recorded the video of me climbing up there and using some marine goop to put those bolts back in. You can see it right here above me. And I just rolled the awning out for the first time since all of that happened, and it's actually, I think, done a really good job, better than I expected. There's just a little bit of give in the bracket up against the side, but it's not that bad. And that marine goop, it's so watertight that it gives me some peace of mind related to having those holes and that gap and anything getting down there. So I would like to get up there again and examine it, but I'll probably just make that a part of our routine maintenance, checking the roof seals, checking the goop seal around the hole for the wee boost antenna. We're having a really incredible experience being out here, I would say.
Yeah, I think the most nerve-wracking thing was just not knowing what to expect once you got out here. I mean, we're not out to the true west yet, so there is still some nerves.
Yeah.
Just trip planning nerves. Just we've got 3 weeks that we don't have any clue where we're staying, and hopefully being able to boondock. But with the boom in RV life right now, I don't know what that really is going to look like for us. And then trying to figure out dump stations and where to get water. And, you know, we can do without electricity as long as we have the fuel, the propane, and the gasoline to fuel our generator. But how do we get fresh water, and how do we dump? So we actually, when we were coming through Iowa, they had dump stations at their welcome centers and their rest areas, which was really nice. I'm hoping to see that going through Wyoming. I know there are a few. I did look on a couple of websites on where to RV dumps that you can use, whether free or pay $10. I know that Pilots and Flying J's and things like that have those options that we have not taken advantage of yet and had needed to. But just figuring out where those things are on your route is really the stressor right now.
Yeah, this week I think is going to be a big test for us, because this will be the first opportunity that we've had to get out of this type of setting, a campground setting, and rely on the generator, see how it performs in real world testing, and see
how long our fresh water lasts.
how long our tanks, yeah. How long our
That's
tanks
really
are.
going to be our true test, is how long our fresh water is gonna take us.
Yeah, but having that knowledge, I think, is going to be really fantastic, because it will allow us to know for certain now how far we can stay away from everything, and how much we enjoy a more boondocking style of living in the fifth wheel and traveling in the fifth wheel. Our last 24-hour stretch in Mitchell, South Dakota was a whirlwind. It was spent getting our family ready to go on our first big boondocking expedition into the Badlands. We spent 5 days overall in Mitchell, and as you could probably tell by some of the comments that we made throughout this video, we could have shortened our stay very easily. You could do Mitchell in 24 hours. You can do the Corn Palace and the Prehistoric Indian Village in the same day. It may make for a longer day, but you could easily do that. There are RV parking spots at both places, and you could boondock in the Walmart parking lot there and continue on your way to the Badlands. That's very doable. You could also space it out. There are multiple campgrounds in the area, and you could take an extra day to kind of rest and recover, or as we did in our last 24 hours, get caught up on laundry, get caught up on administrative things online, and get our tanks prepared for that first trip into the Badlands. When we left Mitchell, I took a wrong turn and ended up on a hard-packed dirt road. It wasn't even gravel. This was a dirt road. We were on our way to a truck wash, which ended up being closed, but all things ended well. There were no wires or low-hanging limbs or anything like that on that road that we had to be concerned about, and we were able to get back on track pretty quickly. Next time, we will venture into the Badlands, and we're taking you along for the ride. So we're very thankful for you taking the time to watch these videos, and until then, we'll see you on our journey.